Hello, hello. I am Bethany George, the follow-up boss. And real quick, I want to show you a really important feature in Pipedrive, and that is automation. And the very first automation you should create is one that is actually provided for you in Pipedrive. So let me show you how to do that. It'll kick you off with learning how to do automation. So when you are in Pipedrive, anytime you want to get to the workflow automation, you go down here on the bottom left. There's the three little dots. You click on it, and up top is workflow automation. So click on that. Gets us exactly where I'm at right now. And they have templates from some initial automations. So the most important one is getting started every time a contact is added. It's not going to show it here, but if you happen to use leads, which most of the time I don't suggest it because most people I'm working with are not necessarily doing any cold outreach, which is what I consider a lead. But if you are, this is actually going to be very much the same thing, and so you may want to use this one as well. But in the case of most people I'm working with, we are creating new contacts because we've already reached out to them. There's already some sort of conversation that has been created. So every time a new person is added, right here, very first one, create an activity. So you'll click on that. What's really great is it's already preset. So every time okay, so what label is really not important right now, because what we're looking at specifically is you've just added a contact, whether you've added it through an automation like Zapier, or maybe it comes in through the calendar with Acuity that's a part of Pipedrive, or perhaps, as I tell people, you've gotten an email from them and now you're just clicking add contact. So this will work for all of those. So we're not going to worry about this first trigger configuration. That part is not important here. Now we're going to go to activity activity configuration. And what type of activity is it going to be? So if you haven't seen that before, there are lots of different types of activities. You can customize those. I have multiple different ones, and you can go in here, and these are the ones I have set, and you can set it for whatever you want it to be. For me, the step that I set it for is to connect on social media. And the reason for that is one thing, I want to make sure I have their social media platform saved as in their contact. Plus, it's just a really easy reminder for me. Are we connected on usually LinkedIn? What is the next step? So it's kind of general enough that it's something that I can do that isn't specific to why is the contact being added. It's just a prompt for me to make sure I have important critical data already added and what to do next. So in that case, I click social because that's what it is for me. When is it due? So pick a time. Is it the same day? Is it the next day? You can pick a day of the week, next couple days, pick one, whatever works for you. Next 2 days, sounds good. All right. And then that's where you give it a title. What is it you want this prompt to say to you when it pops up? So like I said, connect on social media. There we go. Very cool. So we'll just click continue. What is it called? New contact added. I'm going to do a 1 because I already have one that's called that. I'm going to save it. And then it'll take you into where you can do all the editing for it. Now, something I want to prompt you with is if you're creating a workflow automation that is not a template like this, there are a couple quick things I want to show you in here that are really important that don't automatically click. So person created, that is our trigger. Then it creates an activity. That's all this one really does. But one thing I want to show you in here, when you are looking at when it's creating an activity, an email, whatever it's doing, you also always want to make sure it's actually linked with the contact. That seems really straightforward, but it isn't always the case. So linked organization, linked person, see how it's already there for the template. But if it's not, if you're creating your own automation, you want to make sure that happens, because otherwise you'll just have all these random, in this case, activities that have no link and you have no idea what it's talking about. So in here, default fields, you always want to make sure it's connected to at least a person. If you have a deal, this could be where you're working somebody through stages of the deal and you move them from one stage to another, and maybe an activity is created. You may want it linked to that deal, and that deal is actually like when you click on the little card in the deal and it opens up. That's not the contact page. That's the deal page. And so you might want it linked in there so you can also see it there. So that's some differences there, and obviously linked to organization. I actually don't need it linked to organization because I work with individuals, not with organizations. But think about that in your own case. So there's some quick things to think about. Assigned to, that's me. That only applies really if you have a Pipedrive account set up with multiple people who interact with these various people. They'll have different people you can assign it to. So you can assign it to yourself. You can assign it to a teammate. I'm I'm a single individual. I have just myself. So it's not too much of a big deal. Notes are really good. I use this one when I want a note linked with that particular activity. So I have some activities I have set up for when I'm doing reminders for my clients. And it's like, today's, topic is this. And so that's where I'll have a note. And then there's some other description, location, linked lead. That would be if you're doing this for a lead versus a person or a contact. A person is a contact, a lead is a lead. That's pretty straightforward. But yeah, people and contacts are the same thing within Pipedrive. So I want to keep it super swift. That's why I'm talking 1,000 miles a minute. Hope that helps. Make sure you have this automation set up among anything else you might do. But if you'll notice, I'm going to go ahead and save real fast. Save. Actually, I don't even need to save this. I'm going to cancel because I'm just going to end up deleting this because I don't really need one. I'm going to close it. Created by me. So if you'll notice, I have lots of automations and I have more down there. I use them a lot. Now I'm just going to delete this one because I don't need another one. You can also test them out. Anytime you create a new one, you can test it out. I like to have myself as a contact in Pipedrive so that I can then do the things to see what happens and make sure it works properly. So it's always good to test them. And if you have any questions or want to try to figure out how to set up Pipedrive, reach out to me. I do help people get set up in Pipedrive, but more importantly, I help them understand, why are we using this? What is the value of this? Oop, got something going on. All right, talk to you soon.